To find the limit as x approaches infinity, when we substitute infinity into x, or as x approaches infinity, 1 over x starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So eventually 1 over x is getting equal to 0. So we're left with 1 over infinity, which is indeterminate form. So when I have 1 over infinity, the trick is that I have to use e to the ln. So I'm going to use the e to the ln of the limit as x approaches infinity, but because ln is continuous, I can switch the order of the limit and the ln. The reason I do that is because now I can remove the exponent for x using the rules of logs and move it to the front of the ln. So now as x approaches infinity, I end up with infinity, right? So this is still approaching 0, so I end up with ln of 1. So I end up with infinity times 0, which is indeterminate form. So notice I just rewrote this. So the e, remember that whatever my final answer, I need to take it to the e power. So it's indeterminate form. So when it's infinity times 0, that indeterminate form means that I need to rewrite this as 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity. So I'm going to rewrite it as 0 over 0. So now as x approaches infinity, this is going to ln of 1, which is 0, and this is getting smaller and smaller, so it's going to 0 as well. So I have 0 over 0. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the derivative of the numerator times the derivative of the denominator. Remember, the derivative of ln is 1 over u, so 1 over 1 plus 1 over x, times the derivative of u. And the derivative of 1 is 0, but the derivative of 1 over x, I rewrite that as x to the negative 1. So my derivative would be negative x to the negative 2. So that's how I get negative 1 over x squared. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. Notice my x squareds and my negatives cancel, and I'm just left with the limit as x approaches infinity. This is still going to 0 because as x approaches infinity, this number is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So this whole value is approaching 4. And don't forget that it's not just 4, but I had e, so I'm going to write it as e to the 4th.